All right. So good. All right. What's up, guys? Good morning. This is gonna be fun. Okay. First thing I need you guys to do: make sure you got a piece of paper. Make sure you got a pen. There's gonna be so much gold. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Who's got paper? Who's got pen? Who's ready to grab all the golden nuggets that are about to fall? Yeah. Can you guys put on your cameras? Show me. Who's ready? Who's excited? Okay. I don't know about you, but I love making more money. Okay. We got the queen of luxury in the house. Okay. She's going to be breaking down exactly how to go to the next price point. Okay. How to break into better markets. Okay. If you're in rentals, you need to get into sales. If you're in 300, you want to get to 600, or you're in 1 million, you want to get to 5 million. Best person in the world to show you. Make sure you got your pen and paper. Without further ado, the queen of luxury, Christina Gray.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Before I get started, I just want to get a sense of where we are, where you guys are in your real estate career. If you can put in the chat, if you're a listing agent, if you're a buyer's agent, if you work with rentals, I want to know where we are so we can kind of target, and we have enough time to kind of cover as much information as possible. So, and yes, put that in the chat for me, buyer's agent. Okay. And if you're a buyer's agent, can you put in the chat the range that you work in? Okay. If you work with rentals, what is the price range you work with? So I got Amber, she's a buyer's agent, Tatiana, buyer's agent. Okay, guys, if you really want to get to the next level and make more money in your career, we got to participate. There, I got into real estate almost 7 years ago, and when I started, for me, it was all about how do I get a deal done. Anybody, is anybody new here? Anybody that's looking to just, hey, I'm looking to get a deal done. Okay, Amber's 400 to 500. I'm new, Jennifer, she's new. Love it, love it. Yeah. So when I got in, Trishana, welcome to real estate, guys. This is exciting because listing agent 500 to 900,000. Okay, perfect. So what I wanted to talk about today is when I got into real estate, I just always knew whatever I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be working with specific type of people. And it was just, it's just a mindset, right? So sometimes people just want to get a deal done. I knew I wanted to be in luxury, but initially I had to learn how to get a deal done, because in order for me to get to luxury, I need to know what I'm doing. Because now that I've been in the industry for a minute, people can smell if you are inadequate. They could smell if you have fear. They could smell if you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So Amber, rentals price range 1,500 to 15,000. That's amazing. That's amazing. And guys, as we're going through this, the more you participate, the more you're putting out into the universe what you want. So my next question for you is, you are at this point, where do you want to be? Okay. So Amber, you're working with rentals and buyers. Where do you want to be? What's your goal? Melissa, 500 to 900. We have Tatiana, 250 to 350. Where do you guys want to, what type of deals do you want to do? What's that price point? And I'm going to talk about that. So initially, when I got into real estate, I was just eager to do a deal. I wanted to understand how do contracts work? What is the process like? So that way I could build my confidence. And initially for a year, I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing because I was applying principles that were not working. This was advice that was given to me and it wasn't working. And the advice was go out, network, or go to a bar and talk to people about real estate. I felt like a prostitute doing that because I feel like people go to the bar to, socialize, maybe get a date. I don't know. But for me, I went from having a $1 million+ company to now I'm just an agent. And I hated that because I wanted to be something. I wanted to be worth something. And for me to get to the next level, I had to improve my skill level. So I chose to get Zillow leads because I'm like, all right, well, this is not working. And one big mistake that I made, this was an ego thing. And if you guys have that problem in real estate, you gotta get rid of it. My problem was I did not want to call my sphere. I was petrified of my sphere because in my community, I was this owner of this company and now I'm just an agent. So I avoided calling my sphere because I was too prideful. I'm like, this is beneath me. I will call them when I've already made it. That is the wrong mindset. Mindset is everything. And you have to call your sphere because you don't know the kind of money that you're leaving on the table. And I knew a lot of wealthy people and I just was too prideful to call, hey, I'm in real estate. I wanted to let you know. Who do you know that is ready to buy or sell real estate? And that is number one. If you're a new agent and you have not done that, you need to be going through your sphere because you have no idea the power of those conversations. And you've built relationships over your lifetime and you have to touch that social sphere of yours. So I didn't do that. That was my big mistake. So if you're not doing it, write it down. Just say, I need to reach out to my sphere. And if you're doing it, reach out to them again, right? Because you're building relationships. This is a relationship business. So let me see really quick here. So Amber said she wants to go listing agent 60%, buyer's agent 40, 1 to 3 million. Love it. Tatiana, want to be up to 600,000 and up. Melissa, I want to do $1 million plus multi-million luxury residential commercial deals. Love it. Okay, so we have, from what I'm gathering, people, you guys want to go over $1 million. And I'm going to tell you right now, the process is the same, but in luxury, it's different because again, like I mentioned, if you are new in the industry and you haven't done a deal yet, no one's going to want to work with you unless maybe it's your family. And I will tell you right now, my family didn't want to do a deal with me because they're like, oh, you're going to mess it up, da, 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 da. And it like blows my mind when I see people are loyal to their neighbor realtor or family realtor. And those people have never done a deal and they're just so loyal to them because my own family didn't want to do a deal with me. So long story short, I went to get Zillow leads so I can learn to do a transaction from start to finish. And I started working with buyers. I started working with buyers in the price range of 200 to 300,000 price point. And I spent over $30,000 after I got the Zillow program running. Not only did I invest into coaching, I invested into Zillow leads and I barely broke even. So is anybody running Zillow ads or any kind of promotion in this group? Put in the message in the chat here if you guys are running any Zillow leads. So I got a couple of deals under my belt. I was excited, but I realized, oh my gosh, driving around and doing all these transactions that are not going to the finish line was exhausting. So for me, I'm like, okay, I understand now. I don't want to work with buyers. I don't want to work with buyers. I have done the transaction from start to finish, writing up an offer, getting it submitted, going through the inspection, going through the appraisal, going to the finish line. And that boosted my confidence. So if you are new, you have to first do a transaction to boost your confidence to get to the next level. So if you're a new agent, you need to get a deal done. A deal, whether it's a rental, whether it's a buyer's agent, or if you want to be aggressive and you want to hit the phones. We hit the phones hard because we are focusing on listings, and I'll explain listings in a little bit, but getting that first deal done, you have more confidence in yourself because you not only have negotiated a deal, you have probably put out some fires at that point and got to the finish line. And not every deal is the same. So I did the Zillow leads, and then I realized I want to be a listing agent and I want to learn how to be a listing agent. Before I did that, I needed to make a decision. How am I going to find these listings? Am I going to door knock? Am I going to send out postcards, or am I going to call cold call, right? So there's expired, you have for sale by owners, and you can call neighborhoods. I decided to invest into a program called Vulcan 7, and I decided to cold call because I wanted to master being a listing agent, right? So whether you're transitioning from a buyer's agent, increasing to 1 million plus, you have to know how that all works. So you have to look at your own business and say, okay, I'm doing buyers 200 to 350, but I want to become a listing agent. Are you willing to do the work that is necessary? Because the work that is necessary is going to get you out of your comfort zone. And when people are too comfortable in their industry, they get complacent. So I didn't want to deal with buyers. I wanted to be a listing agent, and I made a decision. I'm going to invest in this program, which was, I think, $400 or $500 a month of cold calling, getting leads, and start calling. One of the problems with that was I wasn't consistent, but I did get my first listing. I did get my first listing from that, which was in, I think it was in the $200,000, $300,000 range. And I got to work with my listing, and there were some problems, but the more deals that you do, the more confidence that you build. The second deal that I got was through a referral. Again, talking about your sphere. I had a buyer, still buyers, but they wanted to buy a house in the $400,000 to $500,000 range. This is from my kids' schools, right? So I was petrified in doing the deal because the deal was actually a pre-foreclosure. There was a judge involved. There's a criminal involved. The more messy the deal, the more lessons you learn along the way. But if you are looking to go from 200 to 300,000, right, you have to elevate. So if you are already cold calling, if you are already reaching out to your sphere, right, you got to make that mental decision. Okay, I'm not going to attract anything below 400,000, right? You have to make that mental decision. For me, it was a transitional journey because all I wanted to do was like learn as much as possible. So the other thing that you have to do if you want to go into a higher price point, like $1 million plus, is you need to start going to open houses that are in that price point and higher. You need to be around people that are doing those type of transactions, because if you go in that environment, you start to realize, okay, here's what I need to do, because I realized I did not have enough experience talking luxury. And what does that mean? That means I didn't understand wood, I didn't understand stone, I didn't understand appliances, I didn't understand ceiling height, I didn't understand a lot of things when it comes to luxury, okay? And the best way to learn that is going through open houses, watching how other realtors are talking about it, talking about it yourself, because the more I went to open houses, I surrounded myself with luxury. So 3-4 years ago, I'm going to open houses that are 5, 7, 10, 20 million. And I'm in my head, I'm envisioning doing this. Besides studying all this stuff, you have to now put in some mental focus and envisioning selling these type of properties. So imagine 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I'm doing this, and it only started to come to fruition in the last 2 years. So sometimes you might not see the immediate result, but you still have to put in the actions. What you surround yourself with, you will attract. So if you're constantly focusing on rentals and you're not stepping out of your zone and going to open houses and or volunteering to do open houses at $5+ million range or $1 million range, wherever you want to go, that is one action step. So I hope you guys wrote it down. Did you guys write it down? If you want to be in a certain price point, be in those homes, ask questions. One of the things that I was scared of, you probably might be scared of too, is, what if the agents are not nice and they, know that I'm coming in there and I don't have a buyer? Most luxury agents love helping other agents and sharing information with them. I've never met an agent that was in luxury that was not helpful in answering questions. One of the things that I also did was not only going to open houses on my spare time, understanding, so you have to pick an area. So if there's a luxury community in your area that you want to tap into, you need to know everything about it. You need to know what's coming around in the community. What are they building? You need to go to some community events. The more well-versed you are going to attract abundance. You're going to attract deals. And this is something that I was petrified. Like even up until 2 years ago, I was still not confident in doing real estate until I want to say JC came into my life and he put a camera on me and like, here, talk about this. And I'm like, oh God, here we're gonna find out if I've learned enough. Because now I was on Instagram Live all the time talking about luxury. So is this helping you guys? Has anybody done or gone to an open house that is $1 million plus? Hey, see, I know you've gone to an open house. I throw them into every like scenario. So Melissa said, thanks, good, Christina. My spirit knows someone that wants to buy or sell, and mentioning what you do keeps you on top of their mind. Exactly. That is, yeah. So Amber, like pick a neighborhood, get in front of those open houses. But then if you're going to open houses, here's another thing, right? We live in Sunny Isles. In Sunny Isles, they have all these beautiful new condominiums that are going to be built very soon. And I love going to that. I did that before I got into luxury. But you know what happens when you go to those things and you don't apply or tell people about it or bring new people into your sphere? Nothing happens. You're just, you know, it's like going car shopping and admiring beautiful cars because you can't, you know, afford it yet. So one of the best things, get to know your area. For me, when I moved to Sunny Isles about 7 months ago, I needed to understand every building that is on the sand. So every morning I'd go on a run, I'd recite the building, I'd recite, you know, how many units are in each building and get to know the HOA. So if you're not doing these things, so maybe you're focusing more on a single family, you know, community, or there's, I don't know, townhomes, right? You want to know how many are in that community. You want to know how many homes. Is there a clubhouse? Is there a fitness center? Is there a pool, tennis, basketball? You want to know all these details. And you know, I lived in Boca Raton before I moved to Sunny Isles. My biggest goal was to break into the community that I was living in, because the homes in my community were ranging between 400 and 800, maybe 700 at the time. And I realized as a new agent, I wasn't doing enough. I did a little bit of door knocking and, you know, talking to some neighbors here and there, and nothing happened. When you're not consistent in getting into that community, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. You have to be consistently showing up to all the community events. So find out, let's say you want to break into a community of 300 homes. Right? You want to stand out. You want to know when are they having their meetings. You want to know if they're having any cookouts. You want to know if they're having, I don't know. They have all kinds of stuff. And with our social media, with our technology, we can find out through events, through community pages, right? So you just have to really sit down and decide, do I want to be the agent and focus on that community, be the agent for that community. So to get to the price point of, you know, luxury, right? You have to do more than what you're doing. And it doesn't, let me tell you, it doesn't happen overnight. You can be like aggressive about it, but you have to do it consistently. You could do it gradually. Some people maybe have part-time jobs here. If you're doing it part-time, it'll take you longer to get to it. For me, when I broke into the luxury, right, it was mostly because I decided 3-4 years ago that I'm going to do luxury. And I didn't know how I was going to get it. I was going to find the answer. I hired a coach. I bought leads. I started cold calling. Okay. And the most important is being consistent and following up. So, and if you're working with rentals, you have to talk to your people that you've already put them in a home, because sometimes they're ready to buy at the end of that term. So don't forget about those people. So staying organized. I've lost so many deals because I forgot about people, because I didn't use my CRM, because I didn't put it on my calendar. Hey, John's about to have his lease expire. Call and follow up. I just had one of my clients from the past, his lease was up and we renewed it, and I made money like right away, really quickly, just by rewriting a lease agreement. So staying in front of people. But if you really genuinely, like, I want to do, and I'm glad you turned your camera on because you're a perfect example. Like, you were committed to luxury. Like Dugan was committed to luxury and he just stayed on those price points, right? Like Dugan, are you able to unmute?
Yep. I'm
When
here.
you cold call, do you put a limit on the price points when you call?
No.
Okay, because one of the things that I want to tell you is like when I attract business, I don't call below a certain price point. And that was a decision that I had to make because I only wanted to attract only what I want to focus on. Because if you're like, oh, I'll just attract everything, you'll attract nothing. You'll attract nothing. You have to really get specific on what you want to attract, right? So we call 500,000 and above. I don't call the ones below. So, but if you're just getting started and you need to get that practice to get to the million, you need to call everything from, you know, I don't know what area you guys live in. Like for Miami, it's like really hard to find anything under 200. But if you want to get a deal done, 200 to 500, focus on that price range. Master communicating. You will see the way people talk, the higher price point you go. So, cold calling. The best and fastest way for you to elevate in a price point, going to open houses, asking realtors to host open houses. Okay, I had one of my mentors from my other brokerage, they were doing between 5 to 20 million. And they were open to letting me host an open house. The problem is, right, you got to realize this, and this is what I see a lot of agents do. They want to get the lead that comes in. You have to realize that that's not your lead. And I wasn't like the leads that I was that were coming in, they were not my leads. If you are on our team, for example, if a lead comes in and you run you know, $1 million plus open house, like first of all, I'm going to vet you and I'm going to see if you're professional. I'm going to see if you know how to convert a lead, because if you don't know how to convert a lead, nurture a lead, you're not going to be able to sustain that. And that's, again, all the steps of master this price point, get to the higher one, start stretching it. Okay. So I did open houses and leads were coming in. I wasn't allowed to take the leads. They were not mine. But I got to practice how to talk to them. I got to practice how to explain the kitchen and all the upgrades and all the fine finishes that were added to the home. So if you want to go into luxury, start doing that a little bit at a time and get into the luxury space until you know how to communicate in those price points. Does anybody have any questions?
Not questions, but I'll give you my advice. Is I did open houses for other agents for about 4 or 5 months and got some. Like I was saying in the role play this morning, I got some leads in that higher price point now. Mm-hmm. But it's all about getting those open houses and cold calling the higher end leads. Like I don't cold call anything under $1 million, and that's just I don't know why I do it, but I just do it. And I did that for the first time. Even I didn't have any listings and I cold call and got a $2.5 million listing. So breaking into the luxury market is not as hard as people may sound it. It's actually pretty easy if it's just a mindset switch and knowing that and having the confidence that you can do it. It's the same thing as selling lower end properties. It's just a little bit more steps to do it, but it's not that hard. Yeah, it really isn't.
Yeah, thank you, Dugan, for sharing that. It is a mindset, right? Dugan's been really aggressive. I mean, he's a newer agent and he's just like, I'm doing luxury, that's it. Like how many conversations I talked to Dugan, and every time we have a conversation, like there's no way out. He burned the bridges, burned the boats. He's committed to luxury, right? I'm giving you more steps to go higher. If you don't have that aggressive approach, go through, you know, level it up. Like for me, that's what worked is I just creeped up higher and higher because along the way, I built more confidence, not only in myself, and that requires a mindset. I knew I was going to be in luxury. You could just go and like, screw it, I'm doing it. That's it. Or you can go and build it up. Building it up is, is gradual, but you might need a month, you might need a year to transition from, 500,000 to $1 million plus. It's just a mindset. And you have to realize, like, here's another point that Dugan mentioned, right? Is luxury is bigger, right? The steps are the same. It's just bigger. You have more of a house. You have a 5,000 plus, house that you need to focus on. There's more ACs. There's more information that you have to remember. And if you're going from, selling a 1,000 to 2,000 square foot house, it's overwhelming. The other thing that I want to tell you is, if you are cold calling and going after the million plus, going on a listing appointment yourself is not recommended. I've done this. I went and tried to get a $12 million pre-construction. I was just really bold, and I asked all the right questions. I asked and got to know the property. But when you show up alone, they see that you're not competent enough to handle the property. And I asked the pre-construction property that I wanted. This was like 5 years ago. And we built great rapport. I went to a very charity event, met the developer, and he's like, come see my house. And I'm like, sure. And I'm like, who are you also interviewing? They're like Douglas Elliman, Premier Estate Properties, Sotheby's. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you give me this listing? Because you're a nobody. That was the response I got. You're a nobody. I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you for being honest. And this is a person I knew, right? So I'm like, how do I get a listing like this? And his advice was, partner with somebody that has experience and luxury, selling luxury, and then I'll consider you. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. So I started calling Douglas Elliman, Sotheby's, and trying to find an agent that will take me and mentor me, because I was committed to getting that listing. And unfortunately, nobody wanted me because I was barely making any money. They're like, what's your stats? And oh, no, thanks. Like, you're only making 40 grand. No. So you have to build that track record by partnering with somebody and learn from them. If that's like the other thing, if you don't want to cold call, learn, because when you're in that environment and you're learning and you're meeting all kinds of people, you will realize how much it'll elevate your business. So I partnered with within my company. I was on just a regular team. Then I partnered in a luxury team. I said, hey, I got this $12 million lead. I'd love to partner with you. And the lady's like, I don't think so. I don't work with nobodies. And I'm like, I have a $12 million lead. I'd love to share it with you. Would you go in with me? I want to go on a listing appointment with you so I can see how you do a listing presentation to a luxury appointment. And then I want to see how it goes from start to finish. Would you go in with me at 50-50? And she's like, well, last time I did that, the person barely did any work, complained, and never showed up, right? This is all about how you show up for the deals. You're either an asset to somebody or you're a weight. Okay. So if you want to partner and you want to go to a higher level, be around people that are doing it, right? So I always say, like, I'm always available. If you want to come to one of our open houses, you want to come pick my brain, always ask questions from people. With that being said, do we have any questions? Did everybody write down the points of how to get to the next level?
Come on now, drop some fires in the room. Excited. Man.
Love it, guys. If you guys have any, if you have any questions, put them into, collaboration. That's right. Collaboration and not giving up on what you want. And if
unfortunate, Christina, it's unfortunate that 24 people were in here this morning catching these gems that are going to change our lives. You know, the next 24 people that missed out, shame on them. They're going to watch your excellence. They're going to see you guys take over, and they're going to be like, damn, what happened? What are you guys drinking over there? So excited for you guys being here, committed. Back to you, Christina. I just had to say that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Jeff. And I you know, like I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. Again, I studied the properties that I wanted to be in, but I didn't have any buyers or sellers. If you're not out there prospecting for that price point, and again, you got to be in the environment. Let's say you don't want to do cold calling. Let's say you don't want to go and farm a community of 1 million+ homes. Are you willing to go to the luxury events? Do you know what those look like? That means you got to go buy a $500 ticket to attend an event where they're drinking the fine champagne and eating the caviars and stuff. I did a lot of that, you know, and because you have to step into that environment. You cannot show up, and also like professionalism. You have to dress the part. Right. I had one girl that I knew, and she wanted to be in luxury, but she was just always exposing her boobs and her butt. And there's like, I was like, you look like a prostitute. Like a lot of luxury people don't, like, you know, a lot of women in the relationship make a decision. They don't want their husbands to be around a woman that is like letting it all hang out. You know, and that's one of the things like that, you know, you have to master your appearance. You have to dress for success every single day. Take care of your appearance, take care of your mindset, right? Like, you know, I'm constantly reading books about luxury, about things that will elevate me. So if you're doing things that are the same, you're going to stay the same. So if you want to go to the next level, you need to start studying other people. You need to be putting yourself in those environments. You need to start talking about it, because when the more you talk about it, the more eloquent, the more confident, and more positive you're going to be when you're talking to your customers. I think with that being said, I am all set. Jeff, I think we're good for now. I could talk about this in a more in depth, but I hope everyone took enough notes. Did you guys get info out of this that you can apply to go to the next level? If you did, let me know. And if you have questions, like if you're working on a deal and you're like, Christina, how do I handle this? Reach out to me, reach out to Jeff, reach out to our team. We're all here for you.
I do want to leave one thing for you guys, is that, you know, you might think of partnering up with someone is not the best. Like, why would I pay someone else the money to do it? Well, I would definitely highly agree and recommend you do it, because I did that on my first $2.5 million property. And now every time I cold call and I tell people that I focus in expired luxury listings, and I just sold the property, you know, that had multiple agents on it, never got sold. I sold it in fast, quick, easy manner. Client loved it. It just built the confidence, and it also hooks that new client into you, saying that you know what you're doing, and you know, it tells, you know, facts tell, stories sell. So
exactly. Partnership is very important if you want to get to the higher level, and what you surround yourself with, you will become. And you know, I love that you said that, Dugan, right? Like you and I here I'm going to point this out. We started with ego. I was so prideful in the beginning. I'm like, I'm doing this on my own. I've had my own company. I'm too good for working with other people. When I talk to luxury agents now, you know, like they are all about collaboration. They're all about that. And for me to get, like, my goal is to get to 10 million plus. All right. I can't get there on that on my own. I need to like partner with people that have done it, that attach my name to a deal like Dugan just did, right? Like the partnership that said he's broken into the 2+ million because it was a collaboration. Right. And his partnership with whoever that person was, they've put in years probably building that. And now you can go and elevate through all of their hard work. And yes, you'll split the deal however you agree to it. But, You know, if you show up and be a hard worker and putting the work, asking the questions, having the right attitude, having the right mindset, people will like, I love people like that. When people show up in my space that are just like go-getters and just like, whatever you need, Christina, whatever you need, I want to learn from you. All right. And it's a long-term gain. Don't think that, you know, you tried this for a month and then it you know, nothing happened. You got to be so sold that you are a luxury person, or you want to work with listings, or you're want to work with buyers, whatever it is. You have to be so sold on it. Like it's, you feel it, you could touch it, but you got to put in the work to get there. So with that being said, Jeff, let's wrap it up. We also have a commercial real estate course tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Guys, if you want to learn the basics of commercial real estate, I have an amazing speaker, Yulia. She's a master in the South Florida market. So would love to have you guys there.
Phenomenal, amazing, amazing. Christina.homes to register for commercial. All right, y'all, it's go time, grow time. Let's get to work. 8:43. No better time to hit the phones than right now.
Let's go, guys. Love it. Have a great day.